5 meters below the surface, off a tiny Japanese island called Yonaguni, there's a structure that looks like it shouldn't exist. Stepped terraces, flat platforms, walls that meet at clean right angles. A diver stumbled onto it by accident in 1986, and almost 40 years later, geologists still can't agree on the most basic question you can ask about it. Did anyone build this? One of Japan's most respected marine geologists says yes, that it's the remains of a lost city, submerged since the last ice age. Other geologists, looking at the exact same rock, say it's something far less mysterious and far more common than anyone wants it to be. Both sides have evidence. Neither side has convinced the other. This is the Yonaguni Monument, and by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this argument still hasn't been settled. In 1986, a local dive tour operator named Kihachiro Aratake was scouting new sites off the southern coast of Yonaguni Island, Japan's westernmost inhabited island, closer to Taiwan than to mainland Japan. Looking for a good spot to watch hammerhead sharks, he instead found something that stopped him: a massive rock formation rising from the sea floor in what looked unmistakably like tiered steps. Word spread quickly through Japan's diving community, and within a few years, the site had a nickname that stuck: Japan's Atlantis. What made it more than just a striking dive spot was its geometry. Divers reported flat terraces, straight edges, and corners that met at what looked like deliberate right angles. The kind of shapes people associate with construction, not erosion. The monument itself is enormous, roughly 150 meters long, 40 meters wide, and about 27 meters tall at its most dramatic point, submerged between 5 and 25 meters below the surface, shallow enough that recreational divers can reach it without technical equipment. It isn't one simple shape. It's a complex of stepped terraces, broad flat platforms, and what look like staircases, cut from layered sandstone and mudstone, that geologists say was originally deposited around 20 million years ago as ordinary seafloor sediment. The formation's defenders point to specific features that go beyond simple terracing: what looks like a carved stone face, markings some describe as resembling engraved symbols, and even a feature nicknamed the turtle for its shape. Critics point out that pattern recognition on natural rock is exactly the kind of thing the human brain is built to do, whether or not a pattern is actually there. The most prominent voice arguing this is a genuine ancient structure is Masaki Kimura, a marine geologist who spent decades affiliated with the University of the Ryukyus, the Geological Survey of Japan, and Columbia University's Lamont Doherty Earth Observatory. Not a fringe figure, but a credentialed geologist willing to take an unpopular position. After hundreds of dives at the site over more than 20 years, Kimura became convinced the monument was shaped, at least in part, by human hands, potentially the remains of a city that would have stood on dry land during the last ice age, when sea levels were more than 100 meters lower than today, before rising water submerged it roughly 10,000 years ago. Kimura has pointed to what he interprets as quarry marks, a road-like feature, and drainage channels. Details he argues that pure erosion doesn't reliably produce in this specific combination. On the other side is Robert Schoch, a geologist at Boston University who has dived the site himself and argues the monument is a natural formation, full stop. His case rests on the geology of the region itself. Yonaguni sits in a highly active seismic and tectonic zone, and the sandstone in the area is known to fracture along natural bedding and joint planes, producing straight edges and right angles as a routine geological outcome, not an exception. Schoch notes that similar stepped, angular rock formations exist elsewhere along Yonaguni's own coastline, above water, where no one disputes they're natural. The same rock, breaking the same way, just never submerged. In 2024, a research team led by geographer Hironobu Suga presented findings at the Association of Japanese Geographers Spring Conference, reinforcing this view, documenting ongoing weathering processes at the site, bedrock detachment, abrasion, gravel formation, consistent with a purely natural origin, no ancient builders required. Two credentialed geologists, looking at the same physical site, have reached opposite conclusions. And the reason it hasn't been resolved isn't a lack of expertise, it's a lack of official investigation. Neither Japan's Agency for Cultural Affairs nor the Okinawa prefectural government has ever formally recognized the Yonaguni Monument as a protected archaeological or cultural site. That designation would trigger funded excavation and preservation research. Without it, everything studied so far has come from independent researchers diving on their own initiative, not a coordinated scientific excavation. No sanctioned dig has ever removed sediment to search for tools, artifacts, or other unambiguous signs of human activity nearby. The kind of evidence that, in Kimura's view, could settle the debate outright if it existed. Until that happens, the site remains in an unusual position, extensively photographed, repeatedly dived, and still formally unclassified. As of recent surveys, including expeditions as recent as 2025, the weight of published geological opinion leans toward a natural origin. But leans toward isn't the same as settled, and Kimura himself has never recanted his position. What keeps the debate alive isn't stubbornness on either side. It's that the two most persuasive pieces of evidence point in opposite directions at once. The geology of the region genuinely does produce natural right angles in sandstone elsewhere on the island, and the site's scale, symmetry, and specific combination of features still strike experienced divers, including trained geologists, as unusually deliberate for something formed by cracking and erosion alone. Every answer to, "Is this natural?" runs into an equally reasonable answer to, "Then why does it look exactly like this?" A marine geologist who spent 20 years studying it says it's a lost city. Other geologists, looking at the same rock, say it's just what sandstone does when it breaks. Nobody has ever been funded to dig deeper and find out for certain. Until someone does, the Yonaguni Monument stays exactly what it's been since 1986. One of the only major archaeological questions on Earth that both sides can see with their own eyes and still can't agree on. Subscribe, because History Decoded is where the real answer replaces the comfortable one.